Markets are driven by people, and the fundamental reality of markets is that they basically concentrate. You get this kind of power law effect here. There's quite a lot of information on this slide, but what this says, in essence, is that in most markets, the lead player has twice the market share of the second player, 3 times the market share of the third player, and so on. So you get this kind of power law. Now, why we've got this discontinuity in the middle of it is because I was quite influenced by a guy called Geoffrey Moore, who was quite fashionable in the IT industry in the 90s, who basically analysed how these power law effects come about, particularly in circumstances where you've got a technical market where a de facto standard suddenly appears, like, you know, sort of first everybody networks with Novell and then they do it in Microsoft, or how does AutoCAD become the industry standard. And what you find is that this is because customers are actually quite conservative. They like to sort of come around an industry leader, and that's why you get a brand value, and that's why you actually, you know, people spend so much time on developing their brand. But the interesting thing is brand, we believe, or our perception is, it's all about logos, it's all about images, it's all about sound. This is nonsense. Brand is all about performance, it's all about delivery. So all the stuff that Rob has been talking about is actually the basis of brand. I haven't got time to explore that further in today's context, but if you remember that, it will stand you in good stead throughout your life. Because actually, you know, we can have all the communications and all the leadership skills that we like, and those are very important to running a business. You can't run a business without it. But it's also equally true, you can have all of the leadership you like, and if your product is crap and the service is poor, then you haven't got a business. Now, coming back to what this is, you get a sort of, Geoffrey Moore said that he uses an image which isn't terribly politically correct, but it's very memorable. He says, in any market you have a gorilla, which is Tesco's, and Rob has been presenting Tesco's as the good guys here. We might have a different story from the horticultural perspective, but we'll not go into that today. But what's interesting is you get a gorilla, you get 2 or 3 chimps, and you get lots of monkeys. Now, being a monkey can be a good thing. In fact, if you're good at playing the monkey, you have much more flexibility, and you have more freedom of action to run your business in the way you see fit, than if you're actually stuck in the gorilla's world, where you have to actually behave by supply chain rules. And then in between, you've got the 2 or 3 chimps. If we talk about, you know, in groceries, Tesco are the gorilla, Sainsbury's and Asda are the chimps, and so on and so forth. In software, Oracle, in databases, Oracle is the gorilla. Sybase and Infomix are probably the chimps, or at least they were when I worked in that section of the market, and everybody else is a monkey. Being a chimp is bad news. You've got the gorilla bashing you around the head at one end, the monkeys running off with your bananas at the other. So, but the difference, the point of putting this slide right up first, is that it makes a difference to your strategy from a personnel point of view, from a sort of systems point of view, or from a marketing point of view, which part of the curve you're in. There's a discontinuity here. To the left of it, there's the gorilla's world, where basically supply chain heads dictate the terms, e-procurement cuts cost, you have to dance to their tune, the hurdles get higher, the money gets less, firms go out of business, and the industry consolidates. That's what's happened in the edibles sector in horticulture. You have one company which is basically growing tons of peppers in hydroponic pots in 12 hectares of glass that supplies 1/3 of the UK market. As a organic grower, I think it's awful. But the engineering, he thinks it's fantastic. And that's the dynamic of this part of the world. Over here, in the monkeys world, where we live with our little sort of Marie Antoinette 2 acres of glass growing organic vegetables for the local market, we can run on our own terms. We collaborate with our competitors. Our reputation depends on being known for what we do. We have a clear story, we're able to deliver, we do what you say, you get back to people quickly. That's how you build your personal brand. These are not my opinions. 2 years ago, me and a colleague from the University of Southampton did some research for BNI, which is a sort of networking organisation. And we got a questionnaire filled out by 650 small companies. And this is what they said, and a lot of the information that I'm going to actually present to you comes from that research project, because it's really interesting about what life It's like in the monkey's world. You can tell from the way that I talk about it that I actually prefer to be in the monkey's world rather than to be sort of stuck here being told what to do by Mr. Tesco. But we're all different. And what works for me wouldn't work, doesn't work for Rob, it may not work for some of you. But what you're going to get from me is a small businessman's perspective on marketing, because that's what I am. I can't do anything else.